When you're on the go and need to know, Chicago's News Talk 89 WLS.
News Talk 89 WLS.
Live from Chicago, this is Bruce Dumont with our weekly Beyond the Beltway analysis of national politics, featuring occasional injections of rumor and innuendo, all offered up by political insiders, pundits, power brokers, public servants, and most importantly, plain-speaking Americans from coast to coast. Tonight's program coming to you from our home base at the Radio Hall of Fame at the Museum of Broadcast Communications in Chicago. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. 1-800-723-8289 is the telephone number. 1-800-723-8289. If you'd like to email us a comment, our email address is btbtalk@aol.com, and our website is www.beyondthebeltway.com. Joining us to share their thoughts and opinions on politics this week, we have Bob McCurry. He is a Democrat, owner of his own public affairs firm, former chief of staff to Illinois Congressman Marty Russo, once upon a time a member of the Ways and Means Committee. Lee Newcomb is here. He is a former office holder in central Illinois and down in McLean County. He is also a small business operator, native of Burbank, California. And Ghada Telhami is here, born in Jerusalem, a Palestinian-American. She is professor of political science at Lake Forest College in Illinois. And we're going to take calls at 1-800-723-8289. But I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about Denny Hastert, who was the odds-on favorite to be the new Speaker of the House. He's 56 years old. He represents suburban and rural Chicagoland area and the 14th District of Illinois. He is a former teacher. His wife is a teacher as well. He's a former wrestling coach, and he is known as the Golden Bulldog, or the coach, because he is a guy who works very hard, dotting the I's and crossing the T insofar as putting legislation is together. He is dogged in his pursuit of his job. And Bob, your congressional career overlapped Congressman Hastert's. And again, tell us a little bit about him based on experiences that you know.
A man whose word is golden, who does work hard, who seeks to be a facilitator and a convener, and who really is not looking to be controversial or even in a sense ideological. He wants to see the United States Congress do its job and do its work, and I think that bodes very well for the future of the relationship between the Republican and the Democratic Party and between the House of Representatives and the Senate. It was interesting, Henry Hyde, when he was talking yesterday in the Well, when he said that I'm sure that our brethren on Mount Olympus, referring to the Senate, will make a good decision, which kind of shows sometimes the House and the Senate's attitudes towards each other.
Lee Newcomb, what's your reaction to Congressman Hastert?
Congressman Hastert is probably the best man for the job right now. There are others that are good, but he is, I think Bob gave a very accurate description of him. He's a conciliator, a person who brings people together. He wants to put legislation together and bring people together to form compromises and develop good legislation. And he's a person that, from the standpoint of the Republican Party, he knows how to get the groups that are on the right, on the left together to make compromises and to put together legislation.
And he is a pragmatic conservative.
He's a pragmatic conservative.
What's your reaction?
Well, I'm glad to see somebody who's not so ideological after Newt Gingrich. I think, that'll bring the party together, which is very good.
Okay. Let's turn to some telephone calls. Let's go to Bob, listening to us on WLS in Mount Prospect. Happy holidays. Are you there?
Bruce?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Good show this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you what you think is so wrong about equivalents, such as Larry Flint digging up dirt on Republicans. It's been going on for 6 years against Bill Clinton, and you don't have a thing against someone like this disgusting, thoroughly disgusting Richard Mellonscape, this drunk in Pittsburgh, spending millions of dollars.
Number one, I don't know whether he is a drunk. I know he's from Pittsburgh.
He claims he's a former drunk.
And sir, there is a difference.
He's a graduate of Betty Ford.
But he also...
then he's a former drunk.
Okay,
many
I'll
people
agree
go to
with
Betty
that.
Ford many times.
All right.
I don't want to say anything against him because he has a reputation of going after people who say something against him.
Go ahead.
I always hear him described as reclusive. They got the wrong word. This man's a coward.
What is the point you're trying to make?
Well, the point is this is a guy who has spent millions of dollars funding organizations.
Let's let the
go after Bill Clinton.
Bob, I asked the caller to explain what he meant. What did you mean, caller?
I couldn't hear you.
What do you mean? Make your point. What's your point?
My point is, I don't like equivalence, but I think it's called for because I've never
So
heard.
two wrongs do make a right, in your view.
Exactly, and I have
I don't agree.
never heard you say one word against the likes of Lucianne Goldberg, Linda Tripp. Not one word.
No, you haven't. But I think you have. If you're a long-time listener to this program,
I am a long-time listener.
Well, then let me make a couple of comments for those that are not long-time listeners. Okay, we have not spent virtually. We have spent no time in the last 5 or 6 years on this program talking about whitewater-related activities. We did one show on Vince Foster's suicide. One show with Christopher Ruddy. That's it. We didn't do one show, and we spoke out against the Clinton Chronicles because I thought it was a bunch of crap. Okay? I'm going to keep going. When Dan Burton got in trouble, I thought Dan Burton stepped over the line and should have resigned because I thought that his conduct when he called the president a scumbag was wrong, and I said that he should have stepped down. I said, although we didn't say it on the air, we did say it around the office here. When I heard about Bob Livingston, I said he should resign. So my record of trying to call it like it is when I think people are stepping over the line, regardless of where the chips may fall, I think is pretty good. In the earlier part of this program, we talked about personal knowledge that I have with someone that used to work at the White House by the name of Rahm Emanuel. I know him. This is not hearsay. I'm talking about things that Rahm Emanuel said to me when he was a regular on this program for years. He consistently talked about the private life of public figures, and he threw it around because he wanted to get it out in the body politic. That's
What's
the
wrong
type
with
of
that?
Because I don't think that's appropriate. That you
It's appropriate in Bill Clinton.
No, I do not, and I just made the point. We are not talking about every rumor and innuendo that's ever been uttered about Bill Clinton, and we've not talked about it on this program. The things we've talked about on this program are based on facts, allegations made by Jennifer Flowers or allegations made by Paula Jones or Monica Lewinsky. That's what we've been talking about. Thank you very much for your call. Let's take another call. Let's go to Charles, listening to us on KLBJ in Austin, Texas. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question about it. If this man, Bill Clinton, is a well-known philanderer, also a chronic liar, would he be able to hold a federal job and have security clearance, knowing what we know about him?
I don't think so.
I've never been involved in security clearance, and as far as my knowledge would be, he has the highest security clearance you can possibly get right now. So I guess the answer to your question is yes. He's got it. No, he got it from the American public.
But if he were
the American public not only elected him, but they re-elected him, knowing everything that Bruce has just talked about, and including several things that I've been on this show that have been talked about on this show that were in the nature of rumor and innuendo. Bruce classifies them differently, like everything you just talked about. There is nothing. Nobody knows what happened between Paula Jones and the president. You just got done saying all we talked about is Paula Jones. It's all rumor and it's all innuendo.
There was a court case.
We talked about it.
That was thrown out.
But it was a court case for a long, long time.
But there was no proof that anything happened. You accept Paula Jones's version, and that's your version of the truth.
I accept.
You accept it.
I accept Paula Jones' version only because I have listened to the Jennifer Flowers tapes, and I know what he told her to do if she was ever asked about it. And he said, lie. He lied to the American people that he had an affair with Jennifer Flowers. He lied to 60 Minutes. He lied to the American people. And you know what? He's a liar. Back shortly.
It makes me want to shout.
Dear Shout Wipes, on my way to work, I spilled coffee on my shirt. I was very upset because I didn't have time to go home and change. I used Shout Wipes and the stain was gone. Now I keep them in my purse and in the car. I've never ever written a letter praising any product, but Shout Wipes are the best thing since sliced bread. Sincerely, Lisa Mashinsky, Saugus, California.
Don't go out without your Shout. Shout Wipes, the instant stain treater.
My name is Sandy Beachananda. The waves are my highways. Sea turtles my convertibles. The smooth backs of dolphins my minivans.
Okay, but the rest of us have to drive real cars, so why not call Geico Direct? One call could save you 15% or more on car insurance, even if your car has fins. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
We want to talk to you a minute about the Volunteers of America of Illinois. They want you to know the end is near. The end of the tax year, that is. Anybody who itemizes realizes the importance of tax deductions. How about a tax deduction from that old car? Did you know every year thousands of people donate their cars, boats, motorcycles, and RVs to Volunteers of America? Maybe they know something you don't. For example, your car donation is tax deductible to the maximum extent of the law. You'll also be spared the nasty ordeal of selling it. But the best reason to give is the proceeds from the sale of your vehicle help Volunteers of America of Illinois provide a safe home for an abused child, a caring role model for a failing student, weekly counseling for a broken family, and hope for a child struggling with issues of violence and indifference. For over 100 years, Volunteers of America of Illinois has been meeting the needs of the Chicago community. If you have an old car and need the tax deduction, call 1-800-363-1129 now. That's Volunteers of America, 800-363-1129.
Dad, please put my train wheels back on.
You're doing fine.
I can't do this.
Have I done something good for my family, baby? Have I done a good deed or loved a child in need? Have I given them a reason to smile?
Did you know those training wheels used to be mine? But I'm afraid I used them so long they're all worn out.
Oh, Dad! Dad, I'm doing it! I'm doing it! I love it too!
Good for you.
Have I done something good for my family, baby? The things I do for them bring such a feeling that it's all worthwhile.
Mom, I did it!
Yeah, all on their own.
Remember a little love, and you'll create memories they'll never forget.
The things I do for them bring such a feeling that it's all worthwhile.
A thought from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
WLS.
From New York City to Los Angeles, you're listening to Beyond the Beltway. I'm Bruce Dumont. Let's go to Michael, listening to us in Los Angeles on KOGO. Go ahead.
Yeah, 4 quick points. As a liberal Republican, the president's impeachment is no more partisan than Senator Packwood's removal, so it's the same. The Democrats' overreaction to defend a man with no class or presidential decorum has become the story. And thanks to the Republicans, Clinton is going to think twice before cheating on the First Lady, a First Lady who respects her position, reflects prestige for the office of president. So I think that that's going to be the news story, that you're sticking around with a guy who's got no class. I mean, he may be thinks circles around people, but there's more to the office than being a smart person who projects a kind of a slobbish type of a sleazy 2-time and 3-time and God knows what. And I think that's the point the Republicans are making.
He's hurt a lot of women in his life, the ones that he has had contact with. Go ahead.
Well, I just think that, the First Lady has really done a good job. And, I don't know why they should be standing up for somebody who's nothing but a liability. I mean, everybody in the Democratic Party has got more common sense and respect for the office of president than this guy. I guess he thinks it's just like some sort of I don't know what he thinks, but I mean, no class, no decorum for the office, decorum necessary to lead our armed forces, and this is going to come back and sneak up on Democrats, I predict.
Caller, I've made a statement several times on this program this year that I think that American women have disconnected their brains when it comes to this man and what they support. Do you agree with me?
Is the statement that the president's making and the Democrats that I think that sexual harassment and cheating on your wife, I mean, I'm not going to put one above the other.
Why not? But do you agree with Lee that he should think for American women? That's what I'm interested in. He's made a statement that American women are too stupid to understand what's good for them.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Yes, you did.
I said I think
you said your brain is disconnected.
I said they've disconnected the American women.
Excuse me. Do you agree that American women have their brain disconnected? That's Lee's comment.
American women put their political agenda ahead of their moral agenda. They should know better.
American women have made a choice like the rest of us have made a choice. One of the wonderful reasons to support Bill Clinton is because of Hillary Clinton. You just patted her on the back. I appreciate what she has done. I think she's a great woman, in many ways greater than her husband. Many ways, maybe it's unfortunate that she's not president of the United States.
She may be the cause
However,
of his problem.
I agree with that statement. It is
part of the
she's
team.
Not president.
She is standing by him. She still loves him. She wants him to be president. So if we love the First Lady so much, why not? Shouldn't we help her?
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly. Again, we're going to. Again, your political skirts are showing.
Her permissive attitude towards him is probably what ruined him in the first place.
I think the entire women's movement was about women not kowtowing to this kind of a character.
Let's go to Bill.
Set it all back.
The entire women's
Let's go to
movement
Bill
was for women
in
to make
Fort
their
Myers,
choices,
Florida,
not you to
on
make their choices for 'em.
WNOG. Go ahead.
Well, there's a couple of things that the Clinton apologists repeat over and over, and it reminds me of the old big lie. If you repeat it often enough, and if you have if you have De Niro and all the celebrities repeat it often enough, that people might actually believe it.
That's true.
And to a point it has, because they seem to have better salesmen out there on the TV and everything, and more TV faces talking about it.
And the media also helps them a lot.
It quit being private after a few things happen. They keep saying it's private, it's private, it's private. That's crap. It quit being private when he started talking to Monica about putting forth an affidavit to avoid being questioned under testimony in which she lied for him. It quit being private when he had Betty Curry, like a pimp, come in at 10, 11 o'clock at night, signing her in, Monica in, to try to hide the fact
and it's not
that he was
now.
being serviced numerous times. It quit being private when he had Betty Curry hide gifts under her bed. Who benefited from Betty Curry, this woman, being put in a position when the most powerful man in the world has her hide things that are
okay, Bob,
subpoenaed.
You want to
coaching the cabinet members.
Okay, let's not repeat the entire bill of particulars. I think
it's been repeated several times. I don't need to defend it. I don't. First of all, a couple of the things he says are inaccurate, but it's not unusual. So we'll just
let's go to Charlotte, listening to us in Bakersfield, California, on KERN. Go ahead.
I've been trying so hard to understand the president's high polls, and I was wondering perhaps the people on your program might address what is the job of the president. When people keep saying the president has done a good job, if you were to list out the duties of the president and then evaluate him in terms of those job duties, how would he come out on that? And if he weren't doing, quote, a good job, as a lot of these people who think he's, doing a good job, if he weren't doing what they think is a good job, would they then not want him to stay in office because of his acts?
All right, let's let Gatto
moral
respond.
relativism?
Well, first of all, this is a man who divided us badly. We are a divided nation. Let's not forget that. He's going to go down in history for that. Number two, this man is a beneficiary of a very favorable economic climate which benefited the United States. The good economy in the United States now isn't all due to the good judgment of the Democrats. Every expert will tell you that. Exactly. If you had any other man in office at this period in our history, we would have had this good economy too. So I don't know what all this glowing about.
Exactly.
His foreign policy, I think, is in shambles. I would take a great disagreement with his foreign policy. His foreign policy lacks any sense of purpose.
So what we have is, in other words, we blame Bill Clinton for everything that's wrong, and we don't give him credit for anything that's right. The fact is that the reason that we are discussing this, the reason it's such a big news item, is we are in the greatest era of prosperity. We are in the greatest era of peace. We are in the greatest era of world dominance by the United States. We're fat and sloppy here at home. We have nothing else to talk about, so why don't we cannibalize ourselves? And I'll go back to what I've talked about before. This is the aim of the right-wing, upper-income part of the Republican Party to divide us and get us talking about things. Let me finish.
Like the Washington Post,
I've listened to
New York
that have
Times,
nothing to do with economic policy.
Catherine Graham,
the top 2%
the Washington
gets
Post.
richer.
Shall
the
I
bottom
keep going?
20%.
Shall I keep going?
The bottom 20%
Why don't you
gets
address
poorer.
what I just said and keep going on with this?
I can't listen to you and talk at the same time.
Well, why don't you read my lips?
Okay, I'll listen now.
You talked about right wing. What about the New York Times? What about the Washington Post?
New York
what
Times
about
is
news?
What? Sun Moon Young?
The
New York Times?
The New York Times.
I thought you said the Washington Times.
The New York Times, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles.
What about them?
My question is, they have led the fight in many of the journalistic battles that we're talking about. What about Newsweek?
To do what?
To provide the evidence to the American people about what happened? Why do you fall into this right-wing crap
because
that the
that's
First
who's
Lady threw
orchestrating
out
it.
on the Today Show?
That's who's orchestrating it behind.
Catherine Graham.
Yeah, how
you're going to tell me
I'm
that...
not saying that... Wait a minute.
Why did you stick to it?
When you have
Catherine Graham, Michael Isherkoff, Newsweek magazine. Is that what you're talking about?
When you have a conspiracy, it does not mean that every element of the conspiracy knows what it's doing. There are people who then just believe the same way as the conspiracy believes.
Bob,
the fact is, we're not talking about economic and social issues.
If this is over, nobody's going to vote for a Democrat
in this country
again.
that are undereducated.
You know, Bob, tonight on this program...
And most of them are voting
Democratic. Hang on, I'm going to get my lick in here. Bob, tonight on this program, Bob, what you have said you stand for in the Democratic Party is you stand for pornographers carrying your message. You say it's okay to lie just so you agree with the person in a federal court. What is your party? What has it become? What is the great historical Democratic Party become when you say we can lie, we can use pornographers to carry our water, we can have a White House that goes after people, shopping stories about their sex lives? Where did all of this start that you're so self-righteously talking about your moral superiority? You are morally superior tonight in self-righteously talking about the Republicans. Where did it start that America began to be torn apart by these things? Was it Clarence Thomas that they tore apart? Was it Bob Bork where they went after his video records of what he rented? All of that started this, and it has continued with this White House over and over and over, tearing individuals' private lives apart. And you say tonight that is what you are for. Your party is a bankrupt party tonight, and the Republican Party is at least, and I disagree with many Republicans, but at least tonight the Republican Party stands for the principle of the rule of law, and your party tonight stands for pornography and lying. Tell us about that.
They gave him 2 standing ovations
when he resigned.
When he announced that he was an adulterer. When he announced he's an adulterer and he said, I'm going to resign, they gave him a standing ovation. Then, when he came back into the chamber, they gave him another stand.
Because he left.
That's why they did it.
Because he had the courage to put his country before his personal.
It's quite a sacrifice. He's asking the president to do the same. The president should sacrifice his office, his career.
We're taking another call. Fred, Warren, Ohio on WKBN. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, hello.
Fine.
First of all, one thing about this Paula Jones case, I mean, it wasn't even really her case. They say it was a denying a citizen her civil rights case. Somebody else financed it. She didn't even want to file it at first.
That's right.
Second of all, as far as liars go, there's some pretty famous liars in our history. If we look back, there's like
How about the future? How about in the future?
Schindler.
Well, Bruce is not going to let you. You're going to say something bad about the Republicans. Bruce isn't going to let you do that.
He's talking about Otto Schindler.
Schindler, the people in the Underground Railroad, they all lied because no one had a right to ask those questions.
Look at one of the things that's happening to our country with this caller. This is a good example. Yeah. You compare Otto Schindler with Bill Clinton.
No,
and
I'm
with
talking about
Larry Flint.
No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't do that. Don't care.